everyone, this is Nimish and today we're going to review the movie Spadikam starring Mohanlal and Tilakan, the one and only Lalitan, and this is an absolutely delightful movie that I watched and I'm not even sure where to begin because I'm completely taken aback by some of the aspects of this movie, especially Mohanlal's acting. So why don't we just begin with that? Mohanlal is a very natural actor, as you guys all obviously know, and he blends into every character seamlessly. And it's very difficult to understand when he's acting, when he's not, and what's going on, and how he gets these crazy roles, and how he gets the performance right every time. And so, finally, in this movie, I kind of understood, or I hope I understood, and what I'm saying is correct, as to how he gets his characters correctly. So there is this one scene in Spadikam where he's caught by the police and he's with Silk Smitha and he's walking down the public road. He's kind of dragged to the police station. He's walking that road with Silk Smitha and his father, Tilakan sir, is on the shop or something and he looks at him in disgust and he's wondering, what the hell is my son or this guy up to? And that scene, which I'm playing in front of your screens right now. So that scene kind of defines how Mohanlal acts because there's a lot going on that scene, and barring the whole review of this movie, which I'll get to soon, I want to speak a little about the acting here. So in this scene you can see that Mohanlal is expressing a bunch of emotions. Firstly, he didn't want to get caught. He's not like, I want to get caught and so this is a big plan of mine to get caught. So there's the emotion that he does not want to get caught and he's not liking it. B, there's the emotion that, I'm this rowdy and I've become this rowdy over years and my image is anyway spoiled, so I don't care about what people say about me anymore. And I don't care about what happens tomorrow or what happens at the police station. I'm just still having that ego in me that I'm, the craziest person, the rowdy, and, I'm the best and no one can do anything to me. Thirdly, when he sees his father, this is when the crazy acting kicks in. He then converts that wrong or that slight shamefulness that he even had into complete positivity for himself, because then he's expressing the third emotion, which is, what, dad, look at this. Look at what you've done to your boy and look at what the day you have to see today. With your own eyes, you have to see such a disgusting day. And I am very happy. This is my revenge. This is my vengeance. And I feel like doing this every single day so that you can see me like this. So there's that third emotion, which is like a victory emotion for him as a very arrogant or rather revolting son. And fourthly, somewhere deep down, he's still the son and he's like, oh God, there's a lot that I've done to spoil my image and my name and whatever, it has been spoiled and my father hates me. But deep down inside he's still the son and he's like, damn it, this my father should not have seen. So there's this whole so many emotions going on, and that's when I started thinking about how he does it. And the only way that I think he does it is by completely going in the head of the character that he's playing. In any movie that he plays, the reason that he plays it so perfectly and is considered the greatest actor ever is because he has a superior understanding of characters, of human beings, of people, which is why psychologically and mentally he becomes the person that he's playing, and thus it projects on screen as complete seamlessly blending into the character. Now on the other hand, physically Mohanlal is the same in all movies. Okay, he has that walk of his and he has that smile, he has the same kind of tears. It's not like different versions of crying or something like that, which probably what Mammootty does because he's a genius in another level, but it's just like different versions. He's like physically the same, but he's still playing different roles and different characters, so although initially when you watch Mohanlal movies, you might think, or I might think like, is he even acting or is he just being so natural and so calm and composed in front of the camera that he's just portraying it so well? So you could easily mistake that, which is probably what some people who don't like Mohanlal do, that he's probably just being too natural and just being and doing the same acting over and over again, which is why he's not that great, he's overrated. That's what probably the haters do. But it's like, I can give you an example in Bollywood of Abhay Deol. So Abhay Deol, if you've noticed him in a movie like Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, which is his most famous movie, he's basically very natural. He's just being, and sometimes I feel he's overrated because in all movies he's playing the same part, and in all movies he's playing that boy, that modern rich boy, and so his being is considered as natural acting, which is not supposed to be necessarily true. Of course, in movies like Dev D, he goes the extra step, and he's definitely a good artist. But that kind of image is something that can easily be applied to Mohanlal, saying that he's just being himself and doing all these roles like a cakewalk. But that's not the case. He's not doing that. That mistake happens because of his physical remains the same, but mentally he's projecting a lot more, and that becomes more and more evident as I watch more and more movies. Like after Spadikam, I watched Devasuram. Before this, of course, I watched Guru and Kiridam. And so these are all different psychological characters with different thinking in their head. And so he is definitely being a different person. And I think that's where his absolutely spot on performances comes from, because he's actually being the character. He's being it, and he understands it probably from the scripting stage or the narration stage, and he understands the director, or he just naturally has this superior tendency to understand people that he's met throughout his life, to retain things he's read and watched all his life, that he can reproduce it very naturally in front of the camera. So he's basically a superior human being who has that ability. So that was one of the finest scenes in history of cinema, if someone has to understand acting and take it very seriously, because he's projecting a multitude of emotions in there. All are going in different directions, these emotions, but he's still doing it so fantastically. And to blend that with the body language is something that is crazy. That's something that I've never seen, and that is why he's the one and only. Now coming to the movie review as a whole, this movie, some people said, is a mass masala entertainer. It's not really a classic, but here's the thing. For me, it's not a masala movie at all from where I come. So it's not a masala movie for me. It's a father-son relationship story, just like Kiridam was also based on a father-son kind of bonding or kind of separation story. And the difference between Kiridam and Spadikam is that Kiridam is about an innocent guy who is simply blamed and wronged for everything, and everything keeps getting out of control for him, and he has absolutely no control over it. Whereas in Spadikam is a story of a guy who completely controls his life and purposefully does all the wrong things to prove a point to his father. The relationship between father and son is the crux of Spadikam, and that's why I feel that this is not a masala movie. And the action sequences at the start and the end, which seemed commercial and might be commercial for Malayalam movies, is definitely justified. It's not just there for the sake of it, for fight sequences of Lalitan to enjoy with popcorn. It makes a lot of sense why it's there. So that's why I don't consider it a mass movie. And if Spadikam is a mass movie, then Kiridam is also a mass movie. And so you guys need to clarify whether these are both mass movies or these are both nice movies or concept driven movies. So in Spadikam, what's absolutely convincing and what's absolutely interesting is the way they showcase his growth, as a child, and how he becomes that, and the kind of complete negative energy and atrocity committed by his father on him, that he didn't appreciate anything. And the reason this movie stands the test of time is because the things that the boy invented, like a soapbox radio or the bell with the hand, these are things that half of us couldn't invent even today, given a chance on our own without Google or anything like that. And so it's still some crazy inventions that the guy did at such a young age. He had that interest in engineering or whatever mechanical stuff, and so his father never understood that. He committed this complete disciplinarian attitude and atrocity on his son, that he has to become a mathematician no matter what. And he just the father just didn't understand how there are people like this. It's very common in India, at least, that some mathematicians or some people who are intelligent in a subject just don't understand how someone can't get that damn subject right. So that's natural. You can't blame anyone. So it's a very real character, and that's why it's more relatable to anyone who watches it, because we've seen such characters either in school, either in our friends' parents, either our own parents, our own uncles, aunts. We've seen such characters, and we've seen such kind of people who can't go and do what they want to do and finally end up just doing some kind of a job. They probably can't get into sports, just giving random examples here. So everything was convincing about this movie and was presented in a very, very nice and emotional way. It was that middle part of the movie where they show his transition is absolutely gripping. And Tilakan's performance again as a disciplinarian, just like he was in Kiridam, is absolutely fantastic. And I think in this movie it's to a higher degree than Kiridam, because in Kiridam he was wearing discipline because he was a police officer. It's not like he was inherently so disciplined that he could not have helped his family and his children. It's just that he was wearing that discipline. He had to do that. In this case, he's actually a disciplinarian, whether he's a teacher or not. He's just that level of disciplinarian. And so he's taken that level of Kiridam's discipline to just another level in Spadikam. And I think that this movie is like a step brother or a cousin of Kiridam, because it has the two same actors in the father son portrayal, and it's two different stories. It's like a same crux of the story told with two different angles, intentional and unintentional. So definitely this was a good film, and with it kind of opened me up to watching more and more of Mohanlal, much more than before, because the level of acting in these very delicate scenes that he has done in this movie is definitely worth appreciating and worth understanding and learning, and to go forward and see more and more of him. And especially after this, when I started watching Devasuram, I was like, oh, I understood the difference more between just being a rowdy and just being, kind of negative, to again being a different character, a different shade of negative, which he does in Devasuram to a certain extent, but I'll speak more about that in that review. So this Spadikam was really good. In fact, for me, it was almost as on the same level and the same category of Kiridam. And another thing, coming back to Mohanlal's acting in Kiridam review, someone said that the way he bites his tongue and goes crazy at the end and stuff like that. And the psychologist kind of who watched the movie told the director that that's fantastic. That's what people who are going crazy do. That they bite their own tongues and stuff like that. And the director said that was not scripted. That was Mohanlal himself who did it. It was not scripted. He just goes in front of the camera and does some magic. And that's what I meant, that he's a superior being. He probably meets like 50 people on an average every day, whether it's his makeup guy, his assistant, whether it's his directors. He meets like 50 people every day, including family. So he has his ability to retain all these characters that he notices, he observes. He has a superior ability to understand. So whenever a script comes, it's very easy for him to understand what this character is and to get in the mind of the character. It's not like he's putting 500 or 1000% effort into sitting and thinking, how will I do this role, how will I get into this character. It's not like that. It's basically he's a very natural actor who does it with ease, but has a superior understanding of human beings and human behavior and nature and relationship, and he has that power to retain from what he sees, he observes, he reads, he watches. And so he can easily, when the camera comes, he understands the situation, that automatically gets reproduced, and that's why he is what he is. So I like this movie, and I'm going with 3.5 stars because this is somewhere between highly recommended and also recommended. So because it has these elements of mass, as you said, and I am getting a feel of what these movies are as I watch more and more. So I'm going with 3.5 stars for Spadikam. It was definitely worth a watch. I hope you like this review. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and keep watching.